What I wanted to talk about today is how I knew when I actually needed to get some help, seek advice, and all that kind of stuff. Because there seems to be a common thread out there that we struggle with is what's normal. You know, what's a normal experience for us as a parent? What are normal feelings for us to have as a parent? And what isn't? And then something that I think makes it worse for us women is we're already categorized as naturally being, temperamental, moody, irrational, that because we simply are women, we're just kind of given those labels. And depending how you were raised and your circle of friends, it can really slow down the process, because if that's what you're feeling in life, you're feeling overwhelmed, you're feeling like your temper is like got no fuse at all, you're overreacting to everything, you're kind of being irrational about things, then you can just feel like, well, unfortunately I'm a girl and this is the hand that I was dealt and there's not much I can do about it. And that is a load of horse poop, because unfortunately, I think we've been given this stereotype because all of us women struggle with these same things. And instead of actually, society trying to normalize it in a healthy way, they normalized it in a negative way by saying that those emotions are normal, not the experiences that are causing those emotions, that they need to be addressed. You need to find new ways, new methods, ask for help, all that kind of stuff. That's not normalized. It's just the fact that our reactions are normalized. And then we think that there must not be something wrong with us because it's almost expected of us, especially when after we have kids, we're expected to go a little crazy. We're expected to have these extreme mood swings. We're expected to feel overwhelmed. You hear all the advice and it's expected. And so when we feel those emotions, we don't think that there's anything wrong with it. And then we don't ask for help until perhaps we are much farther down that road than what we wanted. And that's kind of a really sad thing for me to think about, that there's so many women, particular, this is, I want to talk about women specifically because that's how I understand this, but we're not asking for help because all of this junk, all of these big emotions that we feel is just been labeled as, oh, well, you're just a new mom, your hormones are just going crazy right now, and everything will settle down in another year or two, this will pass. And oh, hey, Ash, so glad that you're able to join. But anyway, so we feel all these things, and because we're women, it's just normal. So I wanted to share a little bit about how that isn't actually normal, for one thing. And I hope it doesn't end up, going over your head, because I'm going to get a little sciencey on this one. And so I've talked about our amygdala before. But basically, all you need to know about our amygdala is it's a little part in our brain, two little parts actually. They're like little almond shapes inside of our brain. And it's the control center for our emotions and for our aggression. And I just have my notes down here because I want to make sure I say everything properly. For our emotions and our aggression. It also is responsible for our protection, as in like our fight, flight, or freeze. And so if we do not understand all of that, how our emotions are actually tied into our self-preservation, then it's really easy to get lost in everything. Because when we have that negative self-talk, that why am I so irrational? What's wrong with me? Why am I struggling so much? Nobody else is struggling this much. All that belittling talk that we all have. We all have it. Some just have it more than others. Our brain the amygdala center, it can't tell the difference between an actual threat and a perceived threat. So a perceived threat is that negative self-talk, that you're worthless, you're not good enough. Who are you to think that you need to ask for help? You only have 2 kids, Leanne. Why can't you handle this all by yourself? All of that stuff, that's going to build these feelings of anxiety and frustration and being threatened, right? Because that's what my brain is creating. It's the exact same sensation as if I'm walking down the street and I see a car rushing to run me over. But my brain can't tell the difference between an actual threat, like a car is going to run me over, or an emotional threat in the sense that it's the negative self-talk that's creating the threat, which isn't real. Because obviously, if I need help, I need to ask for help. I am worth asking for help. I am worth, expressing my emotions. I am worth all of that stuff, right? But because my brain can't, in those moments, logically decipher the difference between negative self-talk creating an unreal threat, it's still going to throw out all of those yucky emotions at you of anxiety, unworthiness, shame, and all of that stuff, because it is rooted in our sense of survival, because it's directly related to our key to survival, right? Because that's what the amygdala does. It houses our emotions and our aggression and our state of survival. So our fight, flight, or freeze. And it really helped me learn how to navigate that a little bit, to kind of take some of the sting out of it. When I realized that, okay, if I'm talking all this crap to myself, all this garbage to myself, I'm creating a hostile environment in my mind. And when I create a hostile environment in my mind, my body is going to react as if I'm in a legit hostile environment by producing anxiety and producing unnecessary stress and frustration and resentment and shame and all of that kind of stuff. And when I was able to see the difference between that and understand how important it is to kind of understand some of these key things of how our brain works, it's easier to, I don't want to say rationalize away the anxiety, because for a lot of us, our anxiety is very real, our stress is very real, but it can be the stepping stone to realizing how important it is to start trying to create a healthy mindset, create a healthy inner dialogue, because we want to break that cycle of our mind creating a traumatic event that isn't based on facts. The things like you're not good enough and you're unworthy and you don't deserve that and the list goes on and on and on. So it's just, I know it's sciencey and it can kind of go over your head, but the beautiful thing when you start to understand that, even if that was all that you got from it and that's all you ever heard about the amygdala again, I hope it helps empower you to realize that your anxiety around your emotions, it's not your fault, because it's just how our brains work. And while it's not your fault, when you understand it, you can start to work towards finding better ways. You can really start working on your self-love, your inner dialogue, all of that stuff to stop creating all of these moments of crisis that don't exist in reality. It's just that yuck that we invent because of what either we tell ourselves or perhaps what people told us when we were growing up, or unfortunately maybe what people are telling you right now. You know what I mean? Like, if you're around toxic people, they're going to create all of that nastiness in your brain right now. And it's really hard to turn that off, and it can be really overwhelming to know that, it's not real, because our brain starts making us feel that it is real even when it isn't. So I hope this didn't go right over your head. Oh, I see Ash has a comment here. My mom is a psychologist, so I'm really passionate about everything you're saying. I'm jumping up and down like, yes, girls, spread the word. Yes, thank you. And yes, you can definitely change it. And that's the beautiful thing. And like, this isn't to minimize, you know, anxiety or stress or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say, oh, just get over it. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that it's very real, but I'm also saying that we can really empower ourselves to start fighting against anxiety and stress responses to events that aren't true. So anyway, I hope that was beneficial to you somehow today. If it went right over your head, if you want more information about any of this sciencey stuff, maybe it actually interests you, just comment below because I can write it out in a more written point, and you can read it if that's easier for you than listening to it. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks for jumping on with me, Ash, and I will catch you guys all later. Bye.